Hello guys, so I'm going to talk about compositional principles today. We're talking about the principles are broad aesthetic strokes that organize elements into pleasing visuals. All right, compositional principles, like I talked about before, the composition of the elements. Balance. Balance is the distribution of items in a composition to achieve equality or symmetrically or asymmetrically. All right, so balance can refer to kind of like balance out the ad. What we're dealing with is balance is kind of like given that strong, very symmetrical type of appearance. As you can see with this ad here, we got the guy running in the upper left, we got the logo in the lower right, but yet it seems very balanced compositionally because what it's doing is it's equaling out the space on both sides. If the guy was over on the right side only, then that would be very asymmetrical. So you look at this. This one tends to be somewhat of a little bit more asymmetrical, but it still balances out because what it's doing there is it's kind of like providing there's a space on the left side and there's an element on the right side. Still balances out, but it's leaning a little bit more into the asymmetrical realm. This one is very, very symmetrical, where it's like you could draw a line down the center of it and it would be exactly the same on both sides. All right, the balance is there. You can also refer to what is called contrast. Contrast is a form, treatments, and ideas create visual or intellectual tension. Enhance perception of differences between paired or grouped elements. All right, contrast is not just about colors. It's also about size and weight and stuff like that. We're dealing with here is like you got a color contrast. Everything is gray except for her top there. You see it very, very red, but it also balances out with the red by the logo, which has the tagline down there. So it does balance still. Here we're dealing with contrast as far as size, where we got a downspout there, but we have the little mini car in there, which basically the car is not that small, but it is giving a contrast to it. Right, direction is the orientation of elements within a design. All right, giving it some kind of direction there. Remember when we talked about implied line there? We deal with the ad where we see the big dog looking at all the little dogs. All right, that big dog is looking down and the little dogs are looking up. This gives a very a direction to it, or that composition in that particular design. All right, we've got this where our attention is brought to the Time magazine cover. And then you just see the guy looking down and that direction is brought down to know why, but yet it's brought down to the rest of the ad as well. So there's very good direction in that. Dominance is a hierarchy of the composition in terms of what is emphasized first. This should always be a thought when you're dealing with any kind of design. You want to attract attention. You want something to pop out first, and then something second, and then third, and then fourth. And if you don't put a direction to it, you're putting more or less everything as equal emphasis. All right. So here we see what's the first thing that somebody sees is you see the guy there leaning against the pole. That's what draws our attention as the guy. But what's really nice about this ad is that the pole is being brought down. Your eyes are being brought down, all right? Or it's being brought down. But then it also goes along the edge of that pool, which that edge of the pool brings you to the tagline. And then it should bring you up to the logo. But I would personally, I would like to see that logo being brought down a little bit, so it's a little bit closer to the edge of that pool. Otherwise, right now it's kind of like floating there, and it doesn't need to be. It can be brought down some. All right, but the direction is there. Then we're dealing with proportion. relations of size and the number to the whole. All right, proportions. All right, again, kind of going back to that contrast element where we're dealing with something that's high contrast that draws attention. All right, you look at here, we're dealing with things that are just way out of proportion. Where you got the McDonald's billboard there, which actually has the straw as the actual pole that it's sitting on. Or here, the Nike ad showing the ski slope as the Nike symbol is super huge. Now, this one is not necessarily a size thing, but it does actually put things out of proportion. So you show the ad of the woman there with the binoculars. All right, she's looking, and the bird's in proportion. But what it is the thought behind it is that these binoculars will make you look like the bird is like right on top of you. That's what it's trying to communicate. And I think it does it fairly well. All right, so it grabs your attention, and it does kind of like show you that, you know, how these binoculars work. Then there's a rhythm, which is a pattern or repetition, a reoccurrence of a shape, word, or thing. All right, these patterns that were related here creates a rhythm. All right, you look at this, and you got the little guys there are all roughing up, but then this iron tends to straighten them out. So it has that little pattern there. Or here, the equal pattern of the kiwi fruits. All right, actually kind of give a different contrast to that battery symbol on most phones. Then there's unity, which is the ability for a design to work as one thing or idea. All right, Target does this very, very well, which provides their logo as a pattern. It provides their logo as like red and white. And you look at all these boards along that building there, they are all united, even though they're all very different. They're still united into one particular marketing campaign. All right, so I'm going to stop there. All right, so we're going to continue on. Another video coming up shortly. So have a good day.